all the news from WTCN TV's expanded news gathering facility.
WTCN TV, Channel 11.
This is KARE 11 News at 10.
Larry, remember when we did this project, this National Geographic project with the animals that you were so helpful with herding for me? You got a little bit aggressive with the moose.
He's always been considered one of the best photographers in the world, but now this Minnesota native is doing something no one has ever done before. In tonight's Extra, the extraordinary work of photographer Jim Brandenburg. His photos are so breathtaking, National Geographic recently featured 90 of them in a cover story. Years ago, Brandenburg made a name for himself photographing wolves in northern Minnesota. But what he's captured on film since then is just as remarkable. KARE 11's Mark Daly and photojournalist Jim Douglas have the story.
I think I was out to let people know I wasn't done yet.
It is a mystical morning in northern Minnesota, and the ghost-like fog is irresistible to a solitary visitor drawn deep into the places where shadows dance with light. Something almost spiritual compels him to look closer.
I think emotion is the #1 facet of a great photograph.
Jim Brandenburg, arguably, is among the finest nature photographers of all time. Thousands of his photographs have been printed in the most prestigious magazines all over the world. Some, Brandenburg himself included, thought that his popularity might have peaked a few years ago.
That's a big fox snake, I think.
But capturing dramatic moments on film,
I had a rattlesnake hit my lens once like this.
while surrounded by a swiftly moving prairie fire, Brandenburg is rejuvenated, chasing elusive images and challenging himself once again. He's moved forward, he says, by stepping back, revisiting the places and things he knows best.
When I was a small boy, I climbed right up to the crotch here and would take naps in the sun. This is a sacred ground to me. Even though I live in the forest, this is where my soul really begins.
Brandenburg's latest work has been so inspired, in fact, that a Japanese film crew recently featured him in a documentary.
That was a true spectacle of nature that's rarely witnessed with cameras. There were 3 loons. One was intruding upon the other two's territory.
Oh,
That wasn't for us. That was for the other loon. For some reason, our presence didn't seem to bother them very much.
you feel a connection, and it's magic.
Screening some of Brandenburg's work recently was National Geographic editor John Ashave.
Some of the most important stories are the quiet stories.
Yeah.
Soon after the screening, Ashave focused the attention of the photography world on Brandenburg's secret project.
The strangest, most personal project I've ever done, that was the least commercial, the least likely ever to show up in a magazine, turned out to be the kind of the proudest of my life.
The project became a cover story for National Geographic. For 90 straight days, the first day of fall all the way through the winter solstice, Brandenburg took only 1 photo a day. One photo, but only one.
People say, did you really shoot 1 picture a day? I said, well, why would I want to cheat myself? It wasn't an assignment. I wasn't out to prove anything except to me.
The project revitalized Brandenburg's enthusiasm for photography. But the self-imposed pressure was so intense that now just looking at the photos brings back painful memories.
I was 3/4 of the way through this project. That's 70-some days before my heart stopped pounding powerfully when I released the shutter.
And who will watch the home place? Who will guard my heart's dear space?
Good friends and music helped Brandenburg escape the deadline and financial pressures of commercial photography. But it's not long before he's back at it again, trekking across a small stream in the Northwoods, snowshoeing near the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness, or trudging through deep snow not far from a 10 by 12 foot cabin. Brandenburg's home away from home.
The purity and the simplicity of this spot has brought me great riches of experience that I'll never forget. From this spot, perched on the cliff on the lake here, I've seen some remarkable natural history events with wolves and ravens and eagles.
One of Brandenburg's newest projects actually got its start more than 30 years ago.
I think the Prairie Book probably sums up my life as a photographer more than anything else.
Bones of Our Mother comprises many of the very best of Brandenburg's photographs and reflects his lifelong love of the prairie.
There's an animal trail across here that didn't get burned.
The book is still more than a year away from being finished. Meanwhile, Jim Brandenburg will continue chasing elusive images wherever shadows dance with the light. Mark Daly, KARE 11 News.
Brandenburg has 90 photographs in the November issue of National Geographic. That is the most ever by one photographer in the 108-year history of the magazine.